All right, so 995 on TikTok. I know, I'm like almost there, almost there. I thought I was going to be able to do it today, but I was like, oh, I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm pretty sure I'll be doing it on Friday, which is why I had to change things up. Hey, Simran. So I was having to, I don't know if y'all heard what I was talking about in the last, like during the live, but so basically what I'm doing, because I'm kind of shifting things up a bit, just because I want to start to prepare for more spiritual work. Because I mean, granted, I do mediumship, I do psychic readings, etc. But spirituality, teaching spiritual, philosophy, knowledge, and etc. That's where my heart sings, and so I want to be able to do more of that. And so what's happening is, how normally we have the live on like Wednesday and Friday, and then after the live we do the study group. And so what I'm going to be doing instead is I'm going to be doing an extra half an hour for the lives. So the free readings that I do for people on Wednesday and Friday, it's going to be an hour and a half of that. And then after that, that's it. Like, there's not going to be any study group. So I know I'll be like, what? But the reason why is because I want to start doing a weekly lecture. And I want it to kind of be set up a similar way to like whenever you go to church. And like, like you go to church, the pastor is given his lecture or given his, whatever. And then after that, but I'm not going to be giving an hour lecture. I'm going to be giving like a 10 or 15 minute lecture, and then open it up to conversation, to questions, to interaction with y'all. And so that's what I want to do. But I want to have a dedicated day and time for that instead of just rushing into it after live, because I want to have enough time to prepare for it. But I really want to do it on like a Sunday, because people are already going to church in their heads. They're already going to church on Sundays, and that's an opportunity to connect with the divine, with spirituality. That's what I want it to be about. And so with the study groups, my goal was to read and to expose people to new information, but I don't feel like I'm doing it effectively or doing it well enough. And so what I'm going to do instead is, during the week, every week, I will find something that inspires me, or something that really motivates me, or something that really helps me to understand something from a sacred text or a spiritual source. And then I will use that in my lecture to talk about it, and then give an example from my life as how I understand it, and then open it up to conversation and questions. And it can be about that topic, or it can be just spiritual questions altogether. It won't be readings or it won't be readings. It'll just be spiritual conversation. And I want to do that every week. Again, I don't know if I want to do it on the after in the Saturday evening, or do it on a Sunday. But I'm leaning towards Sunday, because that's church day, right? That's the day that everybody does it. So yeah, legit Bible study now if you do it on Sunday. That's the point. It's a spiritual Q&A. So it's a weekly spiritual Q&A, starts with a short lecture, and then open it up to Q&A or questions. Because I want to start prepping myself for that next stage of my own work, and doing it in that way, so that I'm establishing myself as spiritual authority in that way. But just open it up to questions, because we learn from each other. We learn from just having conversations with each other. So that's the point. That's the reason why I want to do it that way. So. Don't worry, Cassidy. Don't worry, Cassidy. You're gonna see, I know, Cassidy. I know. You're like, I work weekend, Sunday, weekend nights. I know. And I'm trying to figure it out. I don't want to miss you on the lives, because I enjoy having the lives and conversations. I might just also have just some Ferny chat time randomly in the week, and just have a conversation, since I won't be doing 2 study groups anymore, and I'll only be doing the 1 lecture. But it's just a way, that's what I was gonna do. I was either gonna use a lecture as a podcast episode, or I was gonna record a separate thing a week, which would be like a podcast episode. But I was trying to reduce how many things that I have to keep up with, so I can focus, laser focus on everything that I do. So I give it as much of myself as I'm going to give it. So that's why I want to do it that way. So I think it's great. We love being a part of your journey. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Well, the study group is over. It's done. Rosie is like, how can I get more info in your study group? Well, the study group's no longer going to exist, because after the new year, I'm starting the new year with this already in place. And so this Sunday is probably going to be the first week of me doing a lecture. And so that's probably what's going to happen there. So it's just, I'm trying to, I need this. I'm really trying to do it on a Sunday, just because I want to have that established. So it's like, it's a thing that I'll do every Sunday. because I need to get used to that, because that is the day, right? That is the day. My TikTok is Ferny ESP. So at Ferny ESP, that's my TikTok. So check it out. I've got a bunch of fun stuff on there. I've got some of my like Karen, my psychic Karen. She's on there. All of my spoofs are on there as well. So, oh, well, I'm happy about that, Simran. I'm happy that he enjoyed his session. Yeah. Yeah, your cousin's hot, girl. Your cousin's hot. Just have to say, don't tell him I said that. I don't want him to feel uncomfortable the next time he has a session. But your cousin's hot, just FYI. But you know those Eastern guys with the dark hair and the beard and like the dark hair and those like eyes that are like, oh, I'm a lover of all things men, right? I'm a lover of all things men's. So I want to tell you really quickly, because I wanted to get on here and tell you about my journey, my Houston journey, before I Ferdy cast. OG Ferny Talk Study Group gets to be a part of Secret Fern Talk Times. Well, actually, Christina, that is something that I've been thinking about as well, because some people are really serious about developing and focusing on a book. And one thing, because, every month we have one psychic development group that gets together on Zoom, and we do that once a month. I might have to increase that because I'm getting a lot more demand for it. But I was also thinking of starting a monthly private, like, study group, a book study group through Zoom. And they would have, however many people want to be a part of that. There would be a limit. So there would be a limit to the people who are serious about actually being a part of the study group. But it would also be very Q&A, but it's more personable, but it would be like through Zoom. And so I'm thinking of doing it that. So I got all these things. I got all these things in my head that I want to do. And it's just like, it's like, I don't want to overload myself, because then once I start to overload myself, then I will start to not do everything as well as I should. But for me, it's that lecture, that Sunday lecture is a goal for me, because I need to establish myself as a spiritual authority in that way, separate from like the psychic and the mediumship that I already do. So that's the reason why I was doing that. So, well, I don't know yet, Miss Jenny. I don't know yet if I'm going to have an official study group yet. First, I just need to get on board with having the new live setup with the hour and a half for the lives, and then getting that Sunday schedule set so that it's a consistent thing. It's funny because I do miss, like, I miss church, and some days I miss church. I miss like some of the old traditional Catholic church stuff that I used to do as well. And here in Santa Fe, there was a church that so you can like watch like live stream. And they put on their stuff, and I was just like, what are they doing? Like, this ain't church. What are they doing? This is not what I wanted to watch. And so it wasn't what I wanted to watch. And so I was like, I need to just do this and just make it, because sometimes when I'm waiting for somebody else to do something, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of waiting for somebody to do it the way I would want to do it. I'm just gonna do it the way I wanted to do it, and then we'll do it that way. So, yeah, and the lectures you're getting us excited of all these ideas. Yeah, I have so much stuff I want to talk about, and it's different from the study groups with the books, because the study groups book, you're reading the book and you're basing everything off of what you're reading. But I read so many different inspiring things and stories, and there are parables and stories and topics that I want to discuss, but I have to do it in a way where I'm expressing it properly through a lecture that I prepare, so I know what I'm going to talk, my talking points, and going into it, and then opening it up to conversation to kind of stick to the theme of that live. So that's the whole point of it. So yes, so extended. So I want to tell you about my Houston stuff. So I don't know if y'all saw the drama with my trip to Houston, because that's what I wanted to tell you about. That's why I was jumping on here, because I wanted to tell you about my drama. So I was supposed to leave. So Saturday, I worked that day. I got finished that evening. I tried to take a nap that night. I took like a 2-hour nap, and then I was going to leave right after. So my plan was to leave here at midnight to arrive in Houston around like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right around midday. So here's what happened. So I did everything to prepare. I did everything. I packed the truck, had it all set up, everything. And 1 o'clock hit. I woke up at 11. I got showered, did what I had to do to make myself feel good, getting ready for the thing. Took my my caffeine, was ready to go. And then I got into my truck, and my partner was falling asleep at that time because he falls asleep around 12 midnight or 1 o'clock. I left, and as I was going down the road here, my tire light came on, and I was like, son of a bitch. And I was like, and it comes up, my tire, my sensor is already messed up because it got messed up on one drive into when I was coming from Houston because there was a dead carcass of a deer in the road. I didn't see it, and I accidentally hit it. So ever since then, the sensor for one of my tires doesn't work properly. And so every like 300 miles, it just comes on, it flashes, and then it goes off. And it just has been doing that. And just haven't taken it to get, fixed because I'm just like, ugh, whatever. But I knew that my tires were low, or one of my tires was low on air. So when the light came on, as soon as I hit the road and got down the street, I was like, damn it. So I was like, okay, let me turn back and let me get back to the house. And I have an automatic tire thing. And what it does is it measures the pressure, and then it fills the tire to a setting, and then it turns itself off automatically. And so I set it, and because it was later, it was midnight, it was like already, I think by the time I was doing this was already between 12:30 and 1. So I was already late on my timeline. So then between 12:30 and 1, so I was here, I was trying to but the little tire thing is really loud. It's way louder than I want it to be. And I was like, I don't feel right about that. And, I had my truck on. I had the little tire thing plugged into my truck thing. So I was filling my tires, and it was just too loud. So I decided to lower our garage door and turn off the truck so I could go ahead and just do it with, but I still had it connected to the tire. Well, after I finished the third tire and I started on the fourth tire, my truck died because I killed my battery. So I had just gotten the tires filled up except for one. I was on my last tire, and I killed my battery. So I was like, son of a bitch. And so I was like, okay. So then I decided, I was like, okay, and so I have a backup battery that I had bought in, where you can, it's already charged. So you connect it to the battery of the truck, and then it charges it up or does what it's supposed to do. Well, that did not work. And I was like, okay, why is it not working? And it's crap. It's just crap. And so I tried, charging my truck. I tried getting it to start, wouldn't start. On top of that, my battery had a lot of acid on it, which probably made it harder. And that's something that my truck has always done. So I usually have to clean that every few months or once a year at least, because it just builds that up. And so I could not get my battery to start. I thought maybe I'm not doing it right. So I kept looking. I was like, maybe I need to go and try something else. So I looked online at YouTube videos to try to see if I was doing it correctly. It was suggesting a different method. That didn't work. I kept going back and forth, back and forth. I was coming in and out, in and out. My partner was like, what the hell happened? And I was telling him, I was like, oh my God. So then it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, I'm way behind schedule at this point. And I'm like, I have freaking AAA. That's what I pay for AAA. I might as well use it. And I also have, with my American Express card, you can also use them because they will come out and do something as well if you don't have AAA. But I called AAA, and they dispatched somebody. So the person that they dispatched was about 40 minutes away. So I had to wait 40 minutes. So I'm sitting in my office. I'm sitting watching TV, and I'm just waiting and waiting. And you can watch where they are. And so I was watching, and they were getting closer and closer and closer. And I was okay. And I put in the notes because they have my business number, because that's my old personal number. But I got a new personal private number because the calls that I was getting for my business is just too often, and it was interfering with me having a life. So I had to separate it. So I have my business line, and then I have my private line, which I don't give out to people unless they're close, like family or close friends. And so I put in the notes, this is my new number, don't call the business line, call this number, because I was trying to change it online with AAA. It wouldn't let me. The system was down for upgrade or whatever. So I was like, okay. So I'm waiting. They're getting closer and closer. And then the time comes where they're supposed to arrive, and no one's arrived. And I'm looking out the window, and it's dark here. So if someone's driving down the driveway, you'll see the light. If someone drives down the street, you'll see it. and nobody was showing up. And I was like, what the hell? And so about 10 minutes after they were supposed to arrive, I'm like, I don't know what the hell. So I'm looking, and I'm like, let me just check let me open up the Zoom app, because that's where my business number is at. So I open up Zoom, and there's like 5 calls, and it's like, son of a bitch. So I look, and the guy apparently called me like 5 times, never left a message, but called me 5 times. So I called immediately, and I realized this like 7 minutes after they tried calling me. So I was like, that's okay, they're close enough still. So I called the number back, and it went straight to voicemail. Call it again, went straight to voicemail. Call it again, went straight to voicemail. I was like, son of a bitch. So then I text the number, hey, I'm still waiting. I think you had the wrong number. And I put in the notes that this was the correct number. I tried changing it on the online thing. It was down, so it wouldn't let me. But just in case, I'm still waiting for someone to come and start my truck. And so no response. And so I waited about 20 minutes. Nothing happened. So then I got back on. I'm like, son of a bitch. So then I got back on the app. I requested someone to come out, and it was going to take another 40 minutes. So at this point, it's getting close to like 4 o'clock in the morning. I should have been gone by 12. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, oh my God, this is turning into like a song. And I know it's like the universe was not wanting me to go. So I was like, or wasn't wanting me to drive at night, right? Because I was going to be driving all night, which I don't mind driving at night. I don't mind it at all. I actually prefer, because there's nobody driving. So I prefer the empty roads. But so then I resubmitted. It said 45 minutes for somebody else to come back out. I was like, all right. I was like, you know what? Let me call AAA, because maybe they can send somebody sooner, since I've been waiting, and someone was supposed to be dispatched and they didn't even show up. And so then I called them. I was on the phone with the lady. She was like, we're so sorry. They should have called the other number. And so then as I'm talking to her, then I get a call from the other guy, and he finally calls me back. He's like, I'm so sorry. I must have misunderstood or whatever. I drove back into town. It's about 15 minutes to drive back to town. He's like, I'm headed back that way. So it's going to take me another 20, 25 minutes to get there. I was like, okay, now that's cool, whatever. So he finally showed up. I was masked up because I wasn't playing games. He showed up. He started the truck like instantly. I was just like, started my truck, let it run for a few moments, finished the last of the tires, got the last of my stuff, used the bathroom for one last time, got in the truck, left. So I didn't actually leave my house until like 4:30, almost 4:45ish. Then I had to stop at the gas station because I needed to get gas, which I was going to do that, before I left. So at like 5 o'clock in the morning when they were opening, and then I left, and I finally took off. So I left, went to Houston, had no issues. On the drive, at one point when I stopped for gas, I thought I accidentally locked myself out of my truck, and I started panicking and freaking out. I didn't. It was in my pocket. I just freaked out for a second. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is just... But yeah, but I got to Houston. I got to Houston around 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. And I was supposed to visit with my partner's mom for a few hours and then rest at her house before I met my sister at my mom's apartment. That didn't happen. Just went straight to her house, dropped off what I needed to. She gave me a couple tamales because they were making fresh tamales, which were delicious. So I got some tamales in, and then that's it. So yeah, so I was supposed to arrive at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. I didn't arrive until 5 or 6 o'clock in that evening, and then got to my mom's new old apartment around 7. So then my sister met me up there. She brought me dinner because I hadn't eaten, so she brought me dinner. I had a little bit of a breakdown when I saw her because I haven't seen her in 2 years now. So I was hugging her and crying, and she was crying with me as well. So all of that, all that great stuff. And then we started working on packing the stuff in my mom's apartment straight at that time. Didn't even wait. Started packing as soon as I got into town. And then we packed a bunch of stuff that night. Most of it was done. And then the movers came the next morning at 8 o'clock, and they moved everything. Thank God. It was that the actual move itself went like clockwork. There was no problem with that at all. And then the new apartment was fine. We got everything moved in. My sister was like, we need to just unpack everything. I'm like, I'm down for that. So we spent several hours on Monday afternoon or evening unpacking everything. My mom's apartment is set up. Everything is up. We even put the pictures on the walls, everything. So it's all set up for her. No problem. So worked out. And then I left on Tuesday around midday. And then I got here around 1 o'clock in the morning. So that was it. So I was only there literally for a day and a half. No, I was there for 2 full days. If you count the afternoon or the evening of Sunday, all day Monday, and then part of the day and Tuesdays. So, and then I made it back here in town in time. Yeah, it is a lot of work for sure. Like you can't say you can't say I don't love my mama or my sister because I did that. It was like, no, nobody's gonna tell me that I'm not willing to do what I got to do for my mom. She's fine. She's actually good. I actually think she enjoys being at my sister's house. My sister's enjoying having her there. I almost feel like my sister doesn't want her to live with her own apartment. The problem is my mom has a boyfriend, and she lives with her boyfriend. And her boyfriend right now is in Mexico. He's having cataract surgery, and then he's coming back to be with her. So he'll be back around the end of January, early February, and so that way they can live together. So yeah, but if my sister's boyfriend wasn't in the picture, she'd probably stay with my sister. My sister would want her to live with her. So, yeah, so that's what's going on with that. So yeah, it was a lot of craziness, for sure. Oh, and one last thing. The day I arrived, right? The day I arrived in Houston, because Houston is known for its potholes. Years ago, I hit a pothole really hard in my truck, and it either broke a motor mount or it broke something that helps to stabilize the frame. And so after that, I had this weird squeaking, creaking sound that drove me insane because it makes me feel like my truck is not stable, but my truck is stable. So it's just creaking, that sound. Well, so I just left my partner's mom's house and I was driving down a road, and I was actually not going to take that road because they had just put a new gas station at the corner of her where she's at, and I was going to drive to see what that looked like. I was like, where did this show up? And I said, no, I'm just going to go the old road that I normally go. Well, there was a big ass pothole on that road. I got my truck fixed after that squeaking thing, so it's been fixed for years. I hit that pothole and I messed up that thing again. So now I have that squeaking thing that's back, and so now I have that to deal with. So I was like, oh my God. So it's like, Jesus, right. So I have a list of things that I have to get fixed with my truck because I also have this crack in the windshield that happened the last time I drove it anywhere far. So I got that, and then I got the tire sensor. The windshield wiper sensor that broke a long time ago. And then that thing. My truck is paid off, so I ain't buying a new truck. And my truck has I only have 100,000 miles on my truck, and it's a 2012 Nissan Frontier. I ain't buying a new truck. I ain't buying anything new. It's paid off. So I'm going to just get that fixed. I was like, okay, I got some things to get fixed with the truck. So yeah, it's a mess. It's a hot mess for sure. It's just like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm home. So I'm going back to Houston in February for my sister's wedding. I've got my booster. My partner's getting his booster in another week, and so he'll be boosted up. So even if I come back and I've got COVID, he's in the best place for it. But one of my cousins that I saw down there, she says it's a good thing you left when you did, because the day after I left, her husband came down with COVID. Another niece came down with COVID on the same family group. And I was around that family group when I was down there. I was like, she's like, it's a good thing you left when you did, because everybody's coming down, but they all got mild COVID. So no one's having serious effects of it. Thank God. So it looks like they all just got Omicron, which is going around, because I have several people who are friends who I've seen also get COVID as well, get the Omicron, but they're all having mild symptoms. So I'm assuming it's the mild one. But still, it's just like, Jesus Christ. But yeah. No need for new debt. I'm not trying. Yes, I am not trying to create new debt. I got in a little bit of. 2019. That's the year I sold my house, and I paid off my truck. I paid off all my debt. I was debt free. And then in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I started panic buying because people in my family they hadn't gone to the groceries. People were buying the grocery stores ending up empty. I was worried about families, so I got into a little bit of debt with buying a bunch of groceries and stuff and having it shipped to people's homes so they would have stuff. And so I did that, and then I also bought a solar panel array. I mean, I did a little bit of spending in 2020, which put me back into that. So it's literally shit, I just got out of that, But it's okay. It's gonna come down. It's gonna go away soon. So it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Yeah, I think most of them are already they've gotten to the bulk of it. So I think most of them have gotten to the bulk of it. And so, yeah. 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 So, all right. But I just wanted to tell y'all. And then on the way back, I don't know if you saw my post on social media on the way back when I had just left my last rest stop, my last gas station. and I was headed home, and then the meteor, I don't know if y'all saw my post where that meteor, I've never seen like that before. You know how you watch, like when you see it on the news, like this meteor in Moscow or this meteor, and you see this like big flash in the sky and all these waves, like that's what it looked like. So I was driving, it was night, of course, and I was driving, and I made a picture. The picture that I posted that's not a real picture. It's just a rendition. People think it's a real picture, but that's not the real picture, y'all. This is a rendition. But I was driving and I was listening to Gloria Estefan's song, and I think it was that part of the song that said your light, your smile lights up my life. In my dark, it's like that part. As soon as I got and I was singing it too. I was singing because I was going through this whole visualization and singing to God and taking the power of God inside and then sending it out to the world, sending all of those hearts. You know, the visual that I do, imagining that I had wings coming out and all of this love is going out into the world. So I'm, channeling that power of God and channeling it out to the world. So I was thinking that, visualizing that, singing that song, and then it got to that part that says, your smile lights up my life. And then in my darkest hour. And as soon as that part hit and I sang that, boom, that meteor like came down and it broke up. And I mean, it was close because, when you see like shooting stars, they go real fast. They don't really, And so this one, I mean, you could count the seconds like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kid you not, that thing was in the air. I saw that for at least 5 seconds, but it came through. It was huge and it broke into 3 solid pieces. There was the first part of it, then there was the second part, which was a bunch of broken pieces, and then the third part. And it went right in the direction of where I was driving to, Santa Fe. I fully was expecting, because when you see something like that, you're expecting like an explosion. I was like, oh my God, is this going to be like one of those like big like things that took out the dinosaurs, because it was big. And no, but I was expecting a huge flash or something. I didn't even see that, but it was like, I was expecting it because it was huge. And I was like, I've never seen something that big before. So it was awesome to see that. But it was like right at the moment where the song hit, I'm over here singing my eyes out. And I was like, whoa, that's an interesting synchronicity. So, and like it was crazy how many numbers were aligned. So even with all this craziness, even with the craziness of my truck, the craziness of what was going on with, doing this and that, the craziness of, and at the last gas station, that I just left, right? Because this was part of the issue. So I kept seeing alignment everywhere, right? I kept seeing numbers everywhere, every 222, 555, 66. I mean, literally, I kid you not. I think I saw 30 times on my trip back, my drive back, I saw that number aligning, those different numbers. So I was like, Jesus Christ, how many numbers am I going to see aligned driving back? So I saw those numbers. So that's the universe saying, you're where you're supposed to be. This is what's supposed to be happening. Just, keep doing the best you can. It's like, okay, but I was driving back. Nothing was going wrong. I go to my last gas station and I'm filling up my gas tank. And, they're supposed to stop when they get to full, right? They unclick and they, so I'm sitting there in my truck. I didn't want to be outside. It was freaking cold. And I'm sitting there looking at my phone or whatever. And then I start hearing a waterfall. And I'm like, is it raining? And I'm looking out and I don't see any rain. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I open my truck door and look out, and there's a gusher of gasoline coming out of my gas tank because the thing did not stop. And all this fuel is just like going everywhere and it's going down my truck, filling that whole area. And I was like, so I got out and I like took it off and like did it. And I was just like, oh my God, and you see those like shows or those like clips where someone like has like a bunch of gas leak and then they turn on their vehicle and it explodes. I was like, that's the first thing that I was thinking about, because I was freaking out. And I was just like, and I was like, okay, what do I do? And I was like, well, gasoline should evaporate pretty quickly. So hopefully it'll evaporate off the truck. And I was like, no, I don't feel comfortable with turning on my truck and leaving with this amount of gasoline like sitting there, or just like that my truck was just drenched with it on the side. So I packed an extra like 2 gallon, I guess, of water for whatever, just because in case you ever need water, you got water. So I packed that. So I was like, you know what? I'll just rinse this off my truck. So that's what I did. So I rinsed that whole thing and it rinsed off everything. So then after that, I waited a few moments to continue to let it do. And then I turned on my truck slowly. And then I just like moved me instead of me stepping on the gas. And then as soon as I started moving, I started to feel better. I was like, but I was like freaking out. I was like worried that the thing was going to explode. And that was right before I saw that meteor explosion in the air. I was like, what the hell is wrong with this trip? It's just a miracle. Oh yeah, it was definitely. I don't have chaotic days like that. This was a trip for the books. I kid you not, because usually all my experiences are smooth. Everything is aligned. I get things happen for me so that it's easier for me. I'm used to the flow. So when I have all of this kind of hecticness happening, I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just gonna do the best that I can and make the best of it. So that's what I did, and that's what I did. Yeah, yeah. So all you do is subscribe. So to enter that drawing, so for people who are going to get like a free, who want to sign up or to enter the raffle for the free reading, all they have to do is they have to share, they have to tag a friend and then share. I mean, this is more for the reading one. Share the video with people, and for the last hour that I was doing readings, tag a friend in that as well, and then also go to my site and sign up for my Dear Ferny newsletter, which is now going to be like bi-weekly instead of every week. That way, it gives me a break and I can focus more on like the quality of the content. So. Hey, my website, just go to my website. If you go to my website, it's on there. So, fernandomaron.com. Hey, Lizzie. Does it keep track showing we shared? Yeah, what I actually do is I actually will just go and I will look through the comments and I'll see who was sharing, and then I'll pick a few people, and then I'll go and look and see if they actually also signed up or are signed up for the newsletter. And then also it will let me know if someone shared my video clip with their followers. So it also lets me know that as well. So that's how I find out. Yeah, Castaneda. I was like, the gas station is not have a special thing to clean up the spills. I would know. I worked at the gas station. Girl, I thought about that too when I was sitting there, because I was sitting there for a bit, just because I didn't want anyone else to drive into that, and I was letting it, and I was like, let the water, and it was freezing outside, so it was freaking cold, and all the little, like, where the squeegees, they're all frozen over, so you literally couldn't even use that because it was so cold. But I was wondering, I was like, I wonder how often they have this happen at the gas station. So I'm curious, how often do people let that happen, or how often does that happen at the gas station that they have to deal with that? So I'm just curious about that. People. I don't like to brag, but Selena came through in a reading once years ago, because I was seeing what you were writing, Castaneda. I don't like to brag, but it's still like it's one of my moments where I've read, and someone very famous or someone came through, and what happened was, so there was a lady, and this was back when I used to do in-person readings back in Houston. So I had a lady who had driven, I guess she had driven from Corpus Christi, or driven from, yeah, she driven from Corpus Christi up to Houston for her reading. Because I had people like who would drive from Victoria, I would have people who would drive from Austin. People would drive to see me for the reading. So she had come for the reading. I didn't know who she was, because it's not like I look up people before the reading. I actually like to not know, because I wanna be able to clue into some stuff. So I didn't know who she was, but I was sitting there, I was reading for her, and I kept, at some point, because she was in mediumship, and she came to me because she wanted to connect with her husband who had passed away. So her husband showed up in the reading, but then other people showed up as well. And at some point in the reading, and she has a recording of this, it's a private session, so she would have to be the one to put it out if she ever wanted to share it. But in the reading, at some point, I also said, there's a female that's showing up, or there's a female coming forward. I feel like she's younger, so she might have been younger female when she passed away. And I said, it's so weird. I said, she's showing me a microphone, but it's like bedazzled. So she's showing me like a bedazzled microphone. So I was like, I don't know if she liked to sing karaoke, or if she was like just big on parties and stuff, but she's showing me a bedazzled microphone. And I said, she said, she's making the circle for me. So that usually means that she's not related directly to you, but she's a part of the circle of friends or people that you know. So she's acknowledging that she's part of the circle as well. And then I said, and also I feel like I feel like she was really pretty, or she was just like she really, really took care of herself, or she really liked to. And I feel like even when she passed, it might have been featured in like a news, or they might have made mention of it in like the paper, separate from like the regular obituary. So it's almost like either she made like local headlines, or she was like on the news. And I said, and I didn't know where, and by the way, I didn't know where she was driving from. I didn't even realize that. This was just like the way that the reading went. And I said, and what she kept showing me, thank you, I hear you, thank you. The ringing in my ear started, so they're getting my attention. Like, hey. I kept seeing a little red car that was zooming back and forth that looked just like Selena's car from the movie Selena. So I kept seeing that back and forth. And I was like, oh, I don't know if she got into a car accident or if there was if she had a red car, but I feel like there's like a red car attached to her because I'm seeing this red car zooming back and forth real fast. And so I've seen that as well. And I said, I feel like her name starts with an S. Like it's like Sylvia. It's like it starts with an S, it ends with an A, and I just can't figure out the middle part. So it starts with an S, it ends with an A, and it's like Sylvia. And so the lady looks at me and she's like, Selena? Like the singer Selena? And I look at her and I was like, in my head I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, who the hell? I was like, why the hell would she think that Selena would show up at her reading? Like, who is she? Like, who is she to think that Selena would show up at her reading? Like, I'm here being an ass in my head. Like, no. I was like, I don't think so. I was like, because I didn't think she knew Selena. I just thought she just was reaching to be connected to a famous person. I was like, no. I was like, why would she be thinking about it? I was like, no. I was like, no. It's like, and then I went over everything again. She's showing me bedazzled microphones, so she likes to sing karaoke or whatever. Lots of fun. There maybe even be videos of her singing. And she's got this red car. She's connected somehow to the zooming red car. Might have passed in a car accident. She's connected to your circle of friends. Her name starts with an S, ends with an A. It's like Sylvia. And then I think there's that. And then I had to, also, I think she made local headlines, or there was a thing. She's like, Selena. And I was like, why does this bitch keep thinking that I'm talking about Selena? Like, why does she think I'm talking about, I'm not talking. No, it's like, I was like, why would you think? And I even asked her, I was like, why would you think it's Selena? Like, and she's like, well, because I'm friends with the family. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, she's like, I'm good friends with her sister. So I know her family. I know Selena. I'm connected to the family. And I was like, whoo. And as soon as she said that, that was it. The connection dropped. I could not carry on the connection. And I was like, no, I don't know. And at that point, that was it. I couldn't carry on the session because I was so starstruck in the moment that I didn't realize that was who was coming through. It was her trying to connect to her family through the family friend that was there for the reading. I had no idea. I was like, but literally the moment that I realized that no, she's serious, dead serious. This is Selena. My brain shut down and I went into starstruck, and I couldn't carry on the session. So that's what ended up happening. So just so y'all know, I have had an experience with Sally myself, but I don't like to put it out there because I don't want to be disrespectful to the family. They're I'm pretty sure they're hardcore Catholics. I don't think they believe in this. And plus, there have been psychics and mediums out there that have said this or that about Selena. There's a psychic who wrote a book. I was channeling Selena, and I was like, that's really shitty for her to do something like that. I'm like, that's really disrespectful. I'm like, you're basically profiting off of somebody who is famous, and you're trying to make a big thing about it just to build yourself up as a psychic or medium. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that myself as well. But yeah, that was my one opportunity to connect with Selena. So that was pretty cool. So I enjoyed that. So, well, there's a few famous people that I've connected to, that I can attest to, which I won't provide the recordings that happened in because those are private for the families. But Selena would have been one of them. Sylvia Brown would be another one. I was able to connect with Sylvia. And then also, what's his name? There's a famous or well-known spiritual guru that I didn't know who he was until just recently, actually, because I follow his content now, and I forgot his name. But there's a significant spiritual guru as well. So that's another person. Oh, and a princess from Iran, I think, a very known princess as well. But everything that came through was verified by families or by the people. So a lot of stuff was verified. So I know that I was actually connecting with them. But it's cool to have that. But I'm not gonna put that out there, recordings or nothing. Those are private. And when you do private sessions for people, it doesn't matter who they were, the famous people or whatever. You're not allowed. You just can't violate people's privacy like that. So Well, yeah, no. As a gift from Sylvia's family, Sylvia Brown, as a gift from her, I actually have her ashtray. So this is Sylvia Brown's ashtray. She had this in her condo in LA, and she used to use it because she was a big smoker. So Sylvia was a big smoker. So I have her her ashtray. So that was a gift from her family as a thank you for the thing. So, but it's nice. Like, this is someone that I idolized as a kid to have that. Like, it's awesome to have that. So, I know. Oh, the answer to CrossFit is the gas leaks happen once a month, and sometimes people drive off with the whole pump more than you think. See, I always wondered about that. Because I'm like, what is it? What is that? How often is that? It's like, yeah. So I gotta be paying attention, because I can't be like scatterbrained like the way that I can get sometimes. Oh, thank you, Christina. I appreciate that. Thank y'all. All right, guys. Well, I got to get off here because I'm supposed to get off anyway, so I got to make some dinner. So I love you all, and I will be back on Friday. And then this Sunday will probably be the first lecture. So I got to prepare myself for that as well. I'm working tomorrow because I'm working extra days this week to compensate, because my sister and I were splitting my mom's expenses for her apartment. So whatever, my mom is only going to pay a percentage, and then my sister and I are taking the other half, and then we're splitting that. So that way we can help her out with that. So I'm working extra than I used to work because I want to compensate so that I can help her with that. So I'm working extra this week to help with that. So, all right, guys, I love y'all all, and I will see y'all